It's the end of the week, but it's never the end of Marvel Contest of Champions. It'll be going on forever, baby. Yes, I'll be in the cold ground and this game will still be going on. But what also is going on in all seriousness is, first of all, a lore corner. Kabam Vincent does a fantastic job to explain the lore behind Runaways and, of course, the 2 new champions that have come in this month. Make sure to go and check it out in the link in the description. I really enjoyed it. Shout out to Kabam Vincent. A little bit of fun, a little bit of showmanship, and, of course, all the knowledge of the Marvel Universe. So we like them combinations. There's even a costume change, which I do appreciate, a good costume change. There's also a good chance this has actually been recycled since it was last used 6 years ago. Kabam Vincent, I'm on to you, my friend. Although I've just realised that I'm a fine one to talk because I'm wearing exactly the same t-shirt. That is weird. That's spooky as anything. It looks like Kabam are actually on to me. Anyway, let's get into some of the topics that are a bit more kind of like interesting. So first of all, coming back to the game. If you quit the game and come back, you'll find that you'll get yourself something special. Some people don't, but some people find something to incentivize them to come back for a larger length of time. You can see here that if you're, say, a Valiant player, you'll probably come back to a Valiant-based Nexus and other things to match your particular progression. Is it a good time to come back to the game? Yes. Is it a good time to stay with the game until about December time after the banquet event? Yes. There's some stuff going on later on today. Not going to spoil it, but let's just say later on today you're going to find out about something that Kabam have got cooking, and it's pretty exciting. More on that later on. Anyway, this was cool to see that people were coming back to it, and of course what they were getting as a result is interesting, right? It is interesting. See a lot of players talking about stuff, but I do think for the time that you've missed off, unless there's a kind of like catching up mechanic, you'll probably feel like you've missed out. Oh look, there's an advert for Marvel Contest of Champions there on PC. How unusual. We're actually going to on Monday talk about the performance of the PC version, so I'm collecting some data at the moment. Don't know really what to say about it. It don't look too... Anyway, I won't spoil that video. But yeah, if you're coming back to the game, come back now. But if you've quit for a length of time, you probably missed off like a larger chunk of rewards. You probably missed off all the fantastic freebies that you got from Spring Cleaning event, especially if you've been out of the game for about 2 months. I would cry if I was like, well, I didn't get to get a tier 7 basic for free as a Valiant player. Oh, imagine being Valiant and missed off of that. Yikes. Sucks to be you. Next, on to the topic of compensation. So there was some interesting stuff in and around the compensations of the game downage at the start of the week. Do you remember the game went down for a length of time? Was it at the start of the week? I think it was Monday. Wow. This was from the game team. Thank you for your update. We are going to compensate players for the recent outage, but as the compensation will be given to all players in the game, we are unable to provide items to players throughout support tickets for the incident. While this was unable to estimate the exact time frame for your compensation payout, the good news is that you'll receive an in-game message. Now, if you were playing the game, when was this? On the 18th, so a couple of days ago, you would have got said compensation. It wasn't super spicy. It was just like, was it 4 level 2 revives, some energy refills, full energy refills, and health potions. There's a compensation package, but there's other people that have been like affected in a different way, and I'm going to read this one. Right here. Now, I did see this from time to time, but I wanted to kind of like see what Kabam were actually going to do with it in order to set a story. So the story behind this is this. This player says, last week I wrote to the game support because I miss a 7-star champion I got on a basic crystal pool, account Nefaria by the way, during the outage on the 6th of the 12th. They sent the answer, according to this, I am not getting my champion back, so at least when it's the compensation going to happen. So still not really sure about this particular player and what actually happened to them. I would assume that they were opening up the crystal, basic crystal, and as a result they were like, it stopped on Count Nefaria and the game went dead, or went into emergency maintenance, or something happened, or it was a perpetual motion. So they were kind of adamant that they got themselves a Count Nefaria. Now, I'm personally searching for a Count Nefaria and having to make do with other options, but that is what it is. Anyway, with no kind of evidence largely provided and a response back from Kabam Pinwell that said, in the original message to support, did you describe the incident with the 7-star specifically or just ask about the game outage? I've been told support should be able to help you with things missing because of the outage. That said, it is possible there may not be a record of it, and without something like a screenshot, it may be possible, but either way, support should be able to speak to a specific situation. Right, so let's try and find the player. In the response, it kind of gives me the indication that it may or may not have happened, or it may have happened to a point of view of if the spindle with the champion stopped, like it just stopped or kind of like bugged out or something or glitched towards the end, it may have given the indication that this player actually picked up Account Nefaria. Either way, it may or may not have happened, and that's always a tricky thing, isn't it, to kind of prove that that was yes or that was no. Actually, there is the compensation for those interested in what that was, because obviously I just had the in-game message. And the final say on this is nothing from this particular player. Either they've given up because there comes a point in time with MCOC and Kabam where you just kind of give up because you kind of feel like I'm not going to get anything from it, or it didn't happen. That's always a tough thing, isn't it? Trusting in what you see. Is this correct? And we live in a day and age in MCOC and actually in the world where everything is a conspiracy theory. I think it's going to get worse with AI-based videos and stuff because people will just question any kind of level of shiz that goes on, and yeah, tough one, but we didn't really find out an answer here. Either way, got some compensation. I'm happy with it. It wasn't too amazing, it wasn't too bad, it was quite simply that. Now let's talk about the market loyalty currency. We had a look at the assessment of it, and something I did point out in a video, and just to reiterate, it's added extra. It's like you spend a load of money and you get an added extra. Although there is a very good point which is kind of relatable, which we'll talk about in a minute. Of course, the kind of main response to the value of it is looking at these deals and going, no, I don't see any kind of value, or no, I'm not seeing any added extra, and no, I probably won't be spending. And of course, you know, there was a question about, was there a typo around the zeros? No, that's all legit. That's how it's meant to be. And Kabam Crash did actually weigh in, which we're going to talk about now. So Kabam Crash said, when the feature was developed, someone asked me what I thought should be in the store. I don't think we need any additional incentives to spend in the web store. Anybody who knows about it has the ability to spend there is already doing it, because there is a substantial additional value compared to in-game. So anything we put in this store is just free stuff. So I told them I thought we should just do cool exclusive cosmetics, because we don't really do that anywhere right now. I'm hoping eventually we can do stuff like hire famous Marvel artists to do limited profile pics. Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Imagine one a foil profile pic. Yes, that would be pretty darn amazing. If you've bought one of Gabriel Fazera, former creative director at Kabam's prints, then I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Then someone said they thought there had been something there instead of cosmetics for players that don't care about cosmetics, and they asked if they can put a loyalty crystal in it, and I said sure, because nobody is going to ever buy it. What? I'm sure people in time would actually kind of like buy the 7-star. It's just extra stuff. Also saying these emotes cost $2,000 is like saying the polishing cloth that comes with a new guitar costs $2,000. You're buying the guitar, Gibson is happy to toss in the cloth for free. I guess some people are looking for more incentives to spend, and the top end of spenders would be like, imagine offering something that's kind of quite unique for the top end of spenders that doesn't impact whatsoever on non-spending, not non-spending, like just other people in general. That would be cool. That would be cool to see something unique. Either way, there's Kabam giving you the reason for it. I don't personally care because I don't spend, but for those that do spend, do you care, and what would you have liked to see done differently? Now, what of Arena? We don't really have a strong enough arena-based presence around champions. A lot of time champion acquisition is done via Titan crystals for a lot of new champions, and of course for other champions it will be 7-star shard selectors and other types of things. So the kind of 6-star featured has kind of gone by the wayside, and like, look, there's no 7-star featured. A lot of people just use Arena for unit farming, especially if you're a non-spending player in the game. More so, obviously, if you're a non-spending player in the game. But definitely the question does pop up from time to time about a 7-star base arena. Kabam have already said that if they do this, it will cause punishment elsewhere. So without Kabam kind of taking a line to kind of get something else sorted or do something better, we instead hit with, well, you probably don't want it. Although there might be a little bit of an interesting development. Here we go. There's no plans to introduce 7-star arenas. I won't say never because you never know, but I wouldn't hold your breath. That doesn't, however, mean there won't be other systems for sourcing new champions. Next month, for instance, we are experimenting with our first ever side quest that will have a competitive element, where the top prize is a new 7-star champion, which is probably going to be, what was it? Yes, High Evolutionary. We've also been discussing other options to experiment with, though these are not imminent. Right now, it's just an experiment. And I think it's good that Kabam are doing these experimentation-based things, but if it impacts on money, and this is again, we have to explain Kabam and money. Yes, there are people out there that don't like the idea of Kabam making money. Of course, the game needs to kind of pay for itself. Kabam aren't at liberty to kind of like change anything with their spending elements, so therefore, they have to rely a lot on these kind of pre-bundle, like pre-access bundle things, and of course champion crystals by spending money in the game. They can't change that because they are owned by Netmarble. Netmarble have shareholders. Therefore, they want Kabam to make as much money as possible without kind of taking sacrifices with stuff. So, and breathe. You always hope that Kabam are going to do something new that's gonna see you get 7 stars without having to spend for them or other things. So yes, this event's coming next month, and also other experiments are on the way to see you get some of the newer champions, especially some of the 7 stars. Do you think it's going to be approachable to do that in a competitive sense? No. Is it going to be realistic that everybody's going to get one of those new 7 stars? No. Have you just got to work hard and hope for the best? You're darn tooting. Speaking of rare things to get, rare champions, and well, it's definitely rare things. The compensation for the false positive bans has gone out to players. This went out 3 days ago. So shout out to anybody that got that particular rewards and items. And I tell you what, some people were access to Radiance for the very first time, or the second, like twice as much this time. Okay, so I've just picked up. I'm in a similar boat in that I didn't really, a kind of similar boat in that they got a little bit more. I did AQ, I think it was, or Raise or something like that, and was able to get my Radiance for the week as part of being in Alliance. Now, they, granted, wouldn't have got theirs. Like this, you can see them first of all, Radiance. Should I be doing more, like Battlegrounds? Yes. Do I have the time to do it? No. Do I do as much as I possibly can whenever I can do it? Damn right. Oh, of course, we're all like that. We'll try our best whenever we got the time to do it. Was this a W for players? Yes. Yes, it was. Losing out on Radiance, like some of these players may have lost out on more Radiance than 30k if they weren't able to be in an alliance during that particular time period. Maybe they were, maybe they won't. But there was definitely people that have been kicked from alliances and have had to either rejoin an alliance like that and hope that they can actually get the same amount of Radiance. So it is kind of like, the more you think about it, the more you kind of go, well, they actually would have lost out if they weren't able to rejoin an alliance earlier, straight after the ban. But if they were, I'd say they're sitting at like 60 to 80,000 Radiance, with that 30k, of course, kind of equating for where they are now, then it's a bit of a different talking point. But I've got no problem with this. It was a sucky thing, in particular for players to have, and from like what I'm seeing with people on like Reddit and other places, like this is just something that's completely bad practice in gaming, let alone mobile gaming. For it. If you're still banned, by the way, I think you shouldn't have been banned, and of course, reach out to Kabam, but if not, you might have to just go, well, Kabam have rumbled you, and you might have to start again. Either way, it's been a very kind of like sticky time for Kabam on this one, and they for sure needed to compensate players to at least give a little bit of a show face on this. Anyway, that's been it for the show. Bit of a bumper edition of the show today, the MCN. We've got 2 more videos coming at you. July 4th predictions for next week. or heatwave predictions, deal predictions, and also we've got a special thing going out a bit later on, which is a bit of a surprise. But in any case, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye for now.